Hello YouTube land and welcome to an adventure toy review. Get ready as we review a random toy or toys from my collection. And today we're gonna be reviewing Mr. Freeze from the Batman universe from various lines of 2000, 2003, and 2005 series. Vintage Batman animated series Virus Attack Mr. Freeze action figure DC Universe from Hasbro. DC Universe 6 inches Ice Cannon Mr. Freeze figure from Mattel, Secret File Series 1, Batman's Rogue Gallery Mr. Freeze from dcdirect. Let's start off with the 2000 release. This is the vintage Batman animated series Virus Attack Mr. Freeze action figure DC Universe from Hasbro. And man, this is a pretty amazing figure. I mean, look at the sculpt. It has the amazing and detailed sculpt. If I'm not mistaken, he comes from the Batman and Beyond storyline, where this is Mr. Freeze of the future, where his body was already deteriorating, and the only thing they can preserve is his head, and that's why he is on this mechanical like spider machine with all 6 tentacles. I mean, look at the details of these tentacles. They are all in a ball joint, they're all articulated. Look at the details of those. This is the back of the figure. Still, it has all the details. This is the other side. Then his arm with this 2 freeze missiles, not spring loaded though, but those missiles are there, and the head can rotate from side to side. And yes, it can be removed. The head can be removed. So we can now look closer at the head and look at the sculpt. Look at the design. And there are some bits and pieces of wires there from his neck. And although the helmet has heavy discoloration because it's vintage already. This was released back in 2000, and yes, the helmet is removable as well. So look at the sculpt of the face. Look at the details of this guy down to the neck. Wow. And yes, the head can also move. Wow. This face is very detailed. So if you ever come across this toy, I'd probably recommend this one because it's a weird design, but it's highly and properly executed. I would really recommend getting him. Next up is the 2003 series DC Universe 6 inches Ice Cannon Mr. Freeze figure brought to us by Mattel. And this guy is also an amazing figure. It's quite bulky and it has some detailed sculpt as well. So this time around, Mr. Freeze is on his cryogenic suit or armor with a very large ice cannon, and I love the effects of this, as if it was frozen already. It has some icicles, and the paint apps is from transcends from white to gray, as if it's frozen. And also looking at on his arms and some spots here in the armor as if it's frozen. The helmet has also a icy or mist effect due to the cold temperature. The You have here the backpack, which is also highly detailed. The tubings are also detailed, that are both connected to Mr. Freeze's hands. So this is a play gimmick where you can actually put some water here in the backpack and push this button, okay, and it will spray water here. Although this has a uh, very detailed sculpt, but it suffers with some few articulations only, and only the movement of the legs and a bend on the knee. There's no ankle movements. The helmet is not removable, but the head can turn by just when his hips would turn as well. So that is how to move his head. So this figure is also a good figure, and if you come across this figure, I would also recommend getting him. And lastly, we have the 2005 release from the Secret File Series 1 Batman's Rogues Gallery Mr. Freeze from dcdirect. And look at this guy. It is simply amazing, and it has a very simple design, a simple classic design, yet the paint apps on this guy is very good. I love the shades of blue here, and matched by the accents of his armor pieces in silver. I mean, look at this guy. So he comes with his freeze ray gun, and this figure also came in with a base stand with a one peg, which is, yep, only this foot has a peg hole, but he can just stand properly without the base stand. Look at the details. Let's check closely the details. So look at the armor pieces. So he's a gauge or a meter on his midsection. Look at his a Look at that backpack. Very simple, very classic. And look at his cryogenic suit. And look at his boots. A highly detailed figure. And this figure only promotes a little articulation. The helmet is removable. So look at the scope. The head can move from side to side. The arms can rotate 360. Then with the bend in the elbow that far. Fortunately, the hands cannot rotate, cannot move. The legs move that far only, and bend on the knee that far, and an ankle joint. So this guy is the classic version, the classic design. Although it has few articulations, but I really love the sculpting and the color application, the paint apps of this guy. So I would still gladly recommend in getting this figure. Some trivia: Dr. Victor Freeze. His last name spells Fries. We pronounce it as fries, but when you pronounce it in German, it's freeze. So he is Dr. Victor Freeze. Now, he was a cryogenics expert in Gotham City who was caught in a laboratory mishap while attempting to cure his terminally ill wife Nora. Now, the accident drastically lowered his body temperature to sub-zero levels, forcing him to wear a cryogenic suit in order to survive. Now, Freeze's main goal remains finding a cure for his wife's illness, though his methods often bring him into conflict with Batman. One of my favorite villains in the Batman universe, as he is the coolest. Again, this is Mr. Freeze from the Batman universe. Keep on playing, for every day is an adventure.